Hello there, dear YouTubers. My name is King1993 and today I'll be talking about another Super Mecha Champion Mecha, and today's Mecha will be called Boltus. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, let's see what is Boltus capable of. So if we go to the ability section, we'll eventually see that Boltus has a durability of 2500, about 2500, with an additional shield of 500 and total field 100, and it has a total shot or attack frequency of 2.4 shots per second. Okay, and you can increase this by giving this mecha more rate of fire. So obviously that is another thing. I'll be discussing that later. Now as for this one is a laser cannon. It has a cooldown of 14 seconds per 2 hits and has a total saturated attack of 470. Now its normal fuel consumption in jump is 22 and its dash capability has a cooldown of about 9 seconds and fuel consumption is 10 per dash capability. Okay, so that is basically it for this mecha. Now when it comes to the modules or mods of this mecha, I'll be explaining the modules in the training ground, but first of all let's talk about these modules. Now when it comes to the modules, obviously as you saw, the rate of fire is about 2.4 attack per second, which is relatively average. Okay, but the thing is you can basically increase that. Okay, and the question is how can you increase that? Obviously giving this mecha rate of fire. So I have given this mecha 3 rate of fire. Now the total rate of fire is 3.6%, a little bit higher. I do not know whether that is noticeable or not. Anyway, now as for this shield, I have given this mecha 2 shield. Okay, now the reason I have given this mecha 2 shield instead of 1 is because this mecha is already a fast mecha, but the only problem with this mecha is its durability is low. So I had to give this mecha double shield. Okay, and shield recovery and shield durability. Now as for this last one, I have gave this mecha another movement speed and reload rate. Okay, so having 2 reload rate is definitely gonna be better, because in the long run reload rate is very important in this game. If your reload rate is low, it is gonna be problematic. Now that is basically it for the mods. Now let's go to the training ground to actually talk about a bit more on that topic. Okay, so let's see what this mecha is capable of doing. Okay, first of all let's talk about is core what should I call it, core 1 and core 2. So core 1 is basically gonna be able to make this mecha shoot multiple enemies, which are gonna be, if all of those mechas are gonna be near each other, then all of those mechas are gonna get hit, up to 3 mechas at a time if I were to use this charge shot. Whereas if I were to use this second core, it will basically give 2 lightning marks upon hit. Okay, so let's start with the first one. As you can see, multiple mechas are getting hit. Now what happens if I were to use this one? Now as you can see here, the electricity is gone. Now let me use the electricity. So up to 3 electric charge is gonna be achieved here. Okay, up to 3 electric charge. Now at the 5th electric charge, an additional attacks happen. So based on that, all I can say that if you want to use this mecha more for DPS damage dealing on another enemy mecha, and that mecha is single, then obviously this second one, the second core is actually better than this first one. Now for me or my type of gameplay, I use this hypercharge a lot more often than this one. Okay, now let's talk about this one. For this one, the movement speed of the enemy mecha will be slowed for 2 seconds. Okay, and the secondary weapon is gonna be doing 15% more damage to mecha, which will be having shield. Now for me, I chose this one because the thing is, most of the mechas shield are gonna be active most of the time. So from that point of perspective, giving them more damage output is gonna be better, because the shield will be destroyed and the mechas will be taking durability damage. Okay, so obviously static shock is for me. Now as for this one, is the range of assisted aiming of secondary weapon. So if I were to use this guided lightning, then what will happen is this lightning attack or charge shot or secondary weapon, whatever it is called, it will have 15% of auto attacking the enemies, okay? Whereas the secondary one, which is called energy absorption, it will basically give you 150 shield, but this 150 shield in the secondary attack will only happen when you have no shield. But if you have shield, you will not gain any extra shield. So from that point of perspective, I have chosen guided lightning, and for the propulsion module, I have selected this cooldown, okay, not this one, because if I were to choose this one, overall the movement difference I cannot feel, because let's see what happens. So I have chosen this one. Okay, so as you can see the movement speed. Now let me choose this one and reload and see what happens. The difference is so little that overall I would rather use cooldown instead of this movement. So that is basically my conclusion in the modules, okay? Now let's talk about the secondary part, which is its jump capability. Now you can jump with this mecha without the trampoline, okay, which is why this mecha is called a Rook class mecha. And not only that, in order to jump to higher platform, you must need to be at least near 75 meters away, okay, not 75 meters away. Basically what I am trying to say, the distance this mecha can jump from a low platform to a higher platform is about 75 meters, okay. So look what happens. Okay, so I have to move forward. Not only jump, you have to jump and forward, I guess. Not jump, I mean dash. Okay, still not happening. I guess I underestimated the value a bit. Okay, 70. Let's try 70. So basically speaking, from 70 meters you can jump from that lower platform to this higher platform easily, and right after jumping you can basically shoot down on the mechas which cannot get to higher platform, okay. So if you come down from that place to this higher place, then you will be able to shoot down mechas which will have higher time getting on top of a building. So that is a very high, what should I call it, plus point of this mecha. Another plus point of this mecha is its dash capability. Another thing about this mecha's dash capability is you can basically guide this mecha's what should I call it, dash pattern, okay, similar to Hot Steel and this Northern Knight. They can not only dash forward, rather they can also maneuver their dash left and right, okay. See, I was able to move its dashing position a little bit left or right, okay. So that is basically the reason why I say that this mecha has higher survivability rate, because immediately after dashing you can basically hide to a place, so that to a certain place, so that your enemies will not be able to attack you for a long period of time, okay. Now finally, the last thing about this mecha is this mecha's shooting ability, okay. The shooting ability of this mecha is extremely accurate. For example, that mecha there is about 242 meters away. Now look what happens. I can hit that mecha continuously without any problem. Now what about the secondary attack? The secondary attack also hits like a sniper. So if you are able to use this mecha's long range attack capability, then obviously this mecha will become extremely handy. So from that point of perspective, this mecha, I rank this mecha as a S class survivability mecha, because this mecha can go left and right even in its dash capability. That is one thing. Another thing is its charge attack basically gives out more damage output, okay. Sorry, it's not charge attack, I mean the primary attack basically gives more damage output after the 5th hit. The similar can be said about the secondary attack as well. See, so that is basically the thing about this mecha. Another last thing about this mecha is whenever you try to hit an enemy, make sure that you are not facing those enemy directly in front of you, okay? Like try to hide and hit those mecha, otherwise what will happen is, because because this mecha here Boltus has a low durability, obviously you have to try to be careful as much as possible, okay? So because of this reason, I have ranked this mecha in the following category. Like I have ranked this mecha in terms of movement as a Rook class mecha. So as you saw that it can go to higher platform, but it must need to be near the building to actually go to higher platform. That is one thing. It has a low travel distance. And as for the survivability rate, because it has multiple functionality when compared to this one which I made before, but for some reason it got some negative likes because many people thought, okay, I can turn into ball and then run away or maybe hit those mecha, then why is this low? Okay, because the thing is, even for top players they still have a problem with this mecha. Fire star is the following, and that is basically this mecha. What happens is when this mecha uses its dash capability, or let's say turn into a ball, this mecha then needs multiple type of cooldown to actually reuse those things. So because of that, this mecha is basically has a lower survivability rate compared to this one, because this mecha here, they are basically higher damage output compared to this mecha, and all these mechas and this mecha's secondary attack can actually hit long range enemies. The similar can be said about this two as well. But the fire star, the problem with fire star is its secondary attack is fire, and that fire has an extremely limited range. Whereas for Boltus, as you probably saw, both its primary attack and its secondary attack, both of them are capable of reaching enemies that are more than 200 meters away, which is extremely far. Okay, so that is the reason why I have rated this mecha as an S class mecha, because even in ground combat, okay, if this mecha were to be fighting against this mecha, because this mecha has a higher accuracy as well as a higher damage output, okay, compared to this one, because it has the 4 hit or maybe 5 hit sequence, afterwards it will do another additional damage. Because of that, this mecha has a high chance of winning against this mecha, which is why I have rated this mecha in this place. Because this mecha's problem is, if this mecha were to be fighting against the B class, C class, or even the D class, this mecha will still have a lower chances of survival. Okay, so anyway, that is basically it for the conclusion of this video of why I think that Boltus is a very good quality mecha, balanced and powerful as well. So if you think that this mecha deserve to be on the S rank of survivability, then please give a like and subscribe and click the bell notification icon of this video, so that next time I will be making about another mecha video, and next time I will be talking about this Michael. Okay, so goodbye and stay safe. Okay.